Hello you guys, welcome to my channel. We recently got back from our vacation to Universal Studios in Florida. Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida. I have my Universal Studios Florida shirt that I got there, and Jesse actually got the same one because he's a big old copycat. We went there with our baby. This is actually the second time we've been to Universal Studios this year, and we brought our baby both times. Obviously she was older the second time because that's how aging works, but because we've been two times, I've actually received a few messages on Instagram asking about like tips on bringing your baby to Universal and like the do's and the don'ts and like what's good for, you know, bringing your baby, like what should you avoid when having a baby. So I wanted to make a whole video here on YouTube about like the do's and don'ts of bringing your baby to Universal Studios. At least the one in Florida. So I will say we flew both times we went to Orlando. It is a very quick flight from North Carolina to Florida, so we thought it was worth it. We flew Frontier for the very first time, which is one of like the budget airlines, kind of like Spirit. I've heard Frontier is a little bit nicer than Spirit, so you'll have to let me know down below. I just wanted to preface this whole video saying like we did not drive to Orlando. That may have changed a couple things, but we did end up flying. So now you know, let's get into the do's and don'ts. So I say do stay on property. Now I know this can be expensive and it depends on your budget, so I'm not here to like tell you to go crazy on your budget. If it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget, but I would highly recommend staying on property for a few reasons. One being like the biggest reason in my head, in my opinion, is it's way easier to go to and from the parks. So for us, we stayed at Sapphire Falls Resort, which is not like the top tier, but it's not like some of the more economic ones. And we stayed there because they had a water taxi and a walking path. So you're able to walk to the parks, and from the parks, you can hop on the water taxi, and you can actually bring your stroller on the water taxi, like assembled. You don't have to fold it down like you would a bus, for example. So it was also a really quick trip to and from the parks. So there were times during our visit, if you saw my vlogs, which I'll link down below, you'll see, there were times where we came back to the hotel to put our baby down for a nap really quick, and then we went back to the parks because that's just how easy the transportation was if you're staying on property. I'm sure there are other hotels that are close and maybe offer transportation, so definitely look into that, and if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below. We both really enjoyed staying at Sapphire Falls. We thought it was really nice. We also stayed there because we really liked their pool, and we had planned to come back and do like some pool time on some of the days. So I just think if it's in your budget, highly recommend staying on property just for that like easy transportation. Don't bring a pack and play. Before you pack up your pack and play, check to see if the hotel or resort you're staying at offers a pack and play. I will say probably 90% of them, of all hotels, offer pack and play options for babies. With Sapphire Falls, we had a pack and play complimentary. They even brought us sheets for the pack and play. I mean, I think they were just like regular sheets that we could use for the pack and play, but it was so much easier than bringing it yourself. So even if you're driving, it's one less thing that you have to bring, which I think is amazing. So definitely check to see if your hotel or resort offers a pack and play. I'm going to assume they probably do. Confirm it, and then it's one less thing you have to bring. Do use the Universal shuttle. So I mentioned we flew this time, and the time before, we flew into Universal Studios, and we used the Universal Superstar shuttle both times because it is so easy. We did not have to worry about bringing a car seat or renting a car seat or renting a car and then adding on a car seat or hiring a car service. It was so easy. You book it through like your vacation rental package or whatever, and they set it up. You put in your flight information, they tell you your pickup time, your like come to pick you up at the hotel later time. Like we did this round trip and it was so easy. I highly recommend it. It did not take that long. One con is that you do have to stop at other resorts on the way to your resort potentially, but every time we used it, every single time, like barely anybody was on it. I think it was like us and maybe two other families. At most we stopped at 3 hotels, like including ours. So it was just super, super easy and just one thing off your plate. So if you have maybe a big family that's going, highly recommend looking into it. I believe it was like $39 for an adult round trip, like each adult round trip. But this is like a charter bus. They have a movie playing, so they had like Despicable Me. They had a different movie playing the last time. I forget what it was, but they had Despicable Me playing one time, and it's air conditioned. It always smells clean. Somebody helps you put your bags on and off. Like, it's just super nice, and I highly recommend it because that was like a big thing that we were worried about. Both times we went was just transportation from airport to hotel and back, and the Superstar shuttle just made it so easy, so definitely look into it. Don't forget to hydrate. It's Florida, it's hot, bring a reusable water bottle. This is a tip for anybody. So bring a bottle not just for you, but bring one for your baby if they're at that age of drinking water, which this second time we went, our baby was 10 months old, and so she was drinking water. She had like a little water cup that we gave her, and we were filling that up for ourselves and for her to keep her hydrated as well. It was perfect for her. Like, if you bring your reusable water bottle and you can fill up their cups, like, it's really nice. And I'm just saying, it's hot in Florida. We went in February, and February was warm as well. So definitely don't forget to hydrate yourself and also your baby. Do bring a stroller fan. Now, I will swear by this. You see them everywhere. Bring the stroller fan, okay? You will not regret it. I think a stroller fan in general is just a great investment no matter where you are. But again, it's Florida. It's hot. Your baby will get hot sitting in the stroller, even if you have the shade over it. I mean, back sweat is real. We all know. Having a stroller fan on our baby was amazing. Our stroller kind of like, there's like the shade part that comes up and then it like can extend over. And we put the stroller fan underneath the shaded part, like the canopy, whatever it's called. And it kind of created this, we called it the cocoon of cool. And so we would stick our hand underneath and it would be significantly cooler in that like little, in the stroller, like around our baby than outside, which was perfect. So even when we were waiting in line for rides, when you have to park your stroller, we would still bring the stroller fan and like have it on us, have it on our baby. Just bring it. Like, even if, honestly, if you don't even have a baby, just bring a stroller fan because you're not gonna regret it. It's just a really great investment. Make sure you charge it every single night before going into the parks because you do not want this thing to die, but highly recommend. It's Florida, it's hot, get a stroller fan. Don't miss out on some of the rides with your baby. Now, I think a big difference between Universal and Disney is that Disney has way more rides that you can ride with like no height requirement, so you can bring your baby on a lot more rides at Disney than Universal, but Universal has some. I remember before we went the first time, I read like a blog or something that said literally the only ride your baby can ride is the Hogwarts Express, and that's just one of the rides. Our baby was actually able to ride more. It will just depend on kind of the age and like development stage your baby's in. So I'll explain. Any baby at any age can ride the Hogwarts Express because it's a train. You just can like carry them on. You don't get strapped in, like you just sit down, like just like you're going on a train, right? Babies can ride trains. I will say to ride the Hogwarts Express, you have to have a 2-park ticket because that's what it does. It takes you back and forth, like it takes you to the other park. So you have to have a 2-park ticket in order to ride this ride. But any baby, any age, any height can ride the Hogwarts Express. And you get to sit down in the air conditioning. So, I mean, it's not the worst ride out there, okay? But if your baby can sit up by themselves, or at least like sit next to you sitting up, there are a few more rides they can ride, which we found out this time. They can ride the Dr. Seuss carousel. So just like a regular carousel, there's little horses, but there's also benches like a normal carousel. So you can sit there with them. They can ride the redfish, two fish, Redfish, Bluefish. They can ride that ride if they can sit up by themselves. That's also in the Dr. Seuss area. And we asked the attendant guy, and they can also ride the Simpsons Twirl and Hurl ride. Now, we ended up not riding that one. We did ride the other two and the Hogwarts Express, but he said that we could bring her on. We ended up like just not feeling like going on that ride, but that is another option. I know that's not a lot. I know Disney has a lot more than just, what did I just say? Like 4 rides total, but just don't miss out on those. We didn't know about this the first time we went, so we went on them the second time, and our baby had a lot of fun. So definitely don't miss out on some of those rides with your baby. Do check out the Minion Cafe. Now, Jesse and I love the Minion Cafe. The second time we went, this past time, we went for the first time. Like, we had never gone to the Minion Cafe the previous time we went to Universal, and so this time I just heard that like the food was good for the price, and so hey, let's just check it out. And this has become like our favorite. It was probably one of our favorite parts of the entire trip was the Minion Cafe, and I'll tell you why. Yes, the food is good. We went there twice actually on this trip because we liked it so much, and we got like different food each time, and everything we had was really, really good. And I think for the price, for like theme park food, it's actually good food. Like, nothing is worse, in my opinion, where you're paying for overpriced food and then the food is like super average. Like, at least at the Minion Cafe, the food was really good and we really enjoyed it. Another reason why we loved it, obviously, is like the theming. There is the bright colors and the minions everywhere, and so our baby liked it because babies like bright colors, and it was really, really cute. I also like this restaurant because they blast the AC. I am not kidding. Like, you will get cold, like physically cold, sitting in there before you have to venture back out to the heat. That's really nice, I think. It's Florida, it's hot. Anywhere that they can blast the AC is like perfection. I will say, all of those things, we love the Minion Cafe, cannot recommend it enough, but I think the best part about the Minion Cafe are the changing rooms. This was the most private changing room that I personally found at Universal. There are restrooms in the actual restaurant. So there are some restaurants that are like, you know, I say fast, quick service, like, but you still get to sit down at a table, you know? There were quite a few restaurants like that in Universal, but the restrooms were not in the restaurant, like they were outside. So these restrooms were inside in that beautiful AC that they have blasting, but it was also in the handicap stall, which I did not see in a lot of other restrooms in Universal. I saw a lot of like the changing table just out in the middle of everyone. I mean, like, it's off in the corner, but it's not in a stall. It's not super private. And what I also loved about it, I can't believe I'm talking about changing tables still. I love the changing table. Obviously, it's like super standard, but in that handicap stall, you have obviously like a toilet, you have a sink, you have a trash can, you have everything you need in that stall, and it locks and it's private, and it's just nice. Like, I did not know I would appreciate this as much as I do as a parent, like just the privacy, and it's nice and cool. Another great thing, so obviously I only saw what was in the women's restroom, but Jesse went into the men's and said it was the exact same thing. So that's another nice thing for both moms and dads. You can go change your baby privately in that bathroom. And we also asked to just go in and change our baby and not eat at the restaurant, and they were like totally fine with it too. So I just love the Minion Cafe. I think it's like the best restaurant ever. The food's good, AC, cute atmosphere, but those changing rooms, those restrooms, like, come on. And if you have any other like private changing rooms in Universal, like any other restaurants that do that, please leave it down below. Okay, I just killed a bug in my room, and I feel really proud of myself because I was so brave. Don't forget sunscreen. I keep saying it's Florida, it's hot. We may know this in our brains, but I feel like if you don't live in Florida, you forget just how terrible it can be in the summer. And the sun is hot, and if you are not used to being outside in the sun all the time, I don't know, even if you are, you're probably still gonna burn a little bit. It's just the sun beats down on you. It hits different in Florida. So yes, of course, we need sunscreen too, but especially babies. Babies need sunscreen, and even though like our baby, like I said, our stroller, like the shade thing, canopy, shade, whatever it is, it covered her for the most part and even extended down, but her little feet and legs were still kind of sticking out of the stroller. And so we reapplied sunscreen on her, and then obviously when we went to the pool and all of that, like we put sunscreen on her every single day and reapplied it throughout the day. So don't forget sunscreen. It is so important in Florida. Do be conscious of the noise. And I'm talking more about like specific attractions or shows. There are specific shows that are pretty loud, especially for babies. So I think personally, the Jason Bourne Stuntacular, that is a very cool show that I think everybody should go see. But to be like warning, it is loud. Like there are fake gunshots, and so there's like loud popping noises to emulate that. And it's really, really cool, but our baby ended up getting scared because it was so loud and we had no idea how loud it was when we went into it, and we had to step out with her. So it's just something to keep in mind. The shows on the street were pretty loud as well. So for example, the Blues Brothers perform in the street, and we wanted to walk by that, but it was pretty loud and our baby was sleeping. Now if she wasn't sleeping, I think she would have been fine. She was asleep and it was like very, very loud and we didn't want her to wake up. So just be conscious that some of these shows are loud. Like even the ones in the street, I'm sure parades can get loud. So they do make noise canceling headphones for babies, and I think if she would have, frick, that scared me. The way like when the AC turns on, if that door is cracked open, it slams shut, and it just scared the heck out of me because I'm the only one that's supposed to be here. Ooh, that scared me. What was I even saying? Okay, so noise canceling headphones. They make noise canceling headphones for babies, and I think if our baby had it during the Jason Bourne show, she would have been fine. If that is something that you think your baby will need, they have them on Amazon. I don't think they're that much, so definitely look into those. Don't expect to do everything. I think that helped us have just so much fun at Universal because we went in every single day with a flexible attitude. Like if we don't get to ride every ride that we want to, that's totally fine. If we don't get to see all the shows we want to, that's totally fine. If we have to call it a day early and go back to the hotel because our baby is like screaming because she's so tired, that's okay. We were just there to spend time as a family, and yeah, we want to ride rides, we want to see shows, we want to meet characters and, you know, walk around, experience it. You know, you paid money, you want to enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think sometimes you get so focused on I need to like check everything off my list, and I personally think that the reason we had so much fun, and we had so much fun, you guys. My husband and I and our baby, you could just tell like she was having fun too. And I think it's because we were just down for anything. We were okay with going back to the hotel. That's why we stayed at Sapphire Falls, is if we have to go back there, and we could go to the pool, we could just hang out there. Like we knew that was something that we could have done and that we wanted to do. So I just think have a very flexible attitude about things. Don't expect to get everything done if you have a baby. You know your baby best, and so just be flexible, and if you don't get to do everything, that's okay. And lastly is do have fun. Like I've said, we had so much fun on this trip. I know people say like don't go to Universal with a baby. When we told people we were going to Universal, they asked us if we were bringing our baby, and we're like, yeah, she goes everywhere with us now. Why would we not bring her? And we had fun showing her everything and seeing like all the little characters, and she really liked the Minions because, like I said, bright colors. That's really all it takes. Even though she doesn't like really know the characters, like she's under a year old, she doesn't know like who Minions are. She didn't know who like Scooby-Doo is. Like she didn't know any of the characters, but she still had fun. We had fun seeing her reactions to things like the lights on the rides, and when we rode the Hogwarts Express, there's like the window and it's a screen, and she loved watching that too, and just we had just so much fun. And so I think just have fun. Be flexible and have fun. Don't forget to have fun, because I think Universal is a really, really fun park, especially if you love Harry Potter, and they have so many other things there. Like, you're gonna have a fun trip. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Bye!